can be summed up in the words of that great prophet, Young MC. Prophet Young MC wrote a song. He said, one verse, in the city, ladies look pretty. Guys tell jokes so they can seem willy. Tell a funny joke just to get some play. Then you turn to make a move, and she says, no way. Girls are faking, goodness saking. They want a man who brings home the bacon. Got no money, you got no car. Then you got no woman, and there you are. Some girls are sophisticated, materialistic. Looking for a man makes them opportunistic. They're lying on the beach perpetrating the tan so that a brother with money can be their man. So on the beach you're strolling, real high rolling. Everything you have not yours and stolen. A girl runs up with something to prove. So you just stand there, bust a move. You want it. Sorry. You can't get from God what God has from you if you don't bust a move. You're going to have to get up and do something different. Number one, how do you change where you are? Number one. I don't want you to think I'm homiletically off, so I got to give you some points. Number one, first thing you got to do, you want to change it. You must honestly analyze and assess your situation. Let's look what these boys did. They said, verse 4, now, why sit here until we die? If we say, we're into the city, family's in the city. If we die, we die there. And if we sit still here, we're going to die also. Now, therefore, let's come and bust a move. Let us all fall. If they save us alive, we shall live. If they kill us, we shall die. So they rose up. They had to honestly assess their situation. Watch this now. First of all, I want you to understand, we are all lepers. I know you're perfect, but the rest of us, we're lepers. We have sinned, we sin, we're going to sin. Touch your neighbor and say, maybe not you, but me. I mean, I know you're perfect, but I've sinned. I don't want to. I'm going to sin. I don't want to. Paul says, the good that I would do, I don't do it. It's not that I want to, but sin. Oh, otherwise, you're not a sinner. Well, it's not so much that you got the kind of sin that y'all read about in the paper, but omission and commission and not being nice and not being thankful and not praying enough and not fasting enough and not thanking God enough. Anything that's not God, anything you put somebody on the throne other than God. Sinning. They said, let's examine these facts. You have to do that, people of God. You have got to learn how to assess your own situation and then come to a good conclusion. Listen, you got to honestly look at some things, and then you may have to change. You need to be honest with yourself. Oh, if y'all been dating 10 years and he ain't proposed yet, touch your neighbor and say, who you think you kidding? He not ready to commit. Well, I'm out of here. Listen, when you find yourself in these situations where you've been the same way for the longest, ain't nothing changing, you need to have a Michael Jackson moment and turn to that joker and say, beat it, beat it, beat it. You have to have a Ray Charles moment and say, hit the road, Jack. You have to I know it's going to be bad because y'all been together so long, but you got to have a whispers moment and say, I had to meet you here today. There are just so many things to say. Please don't stop me till I'm through. That's just one thing I got to do. It's going to hurt me. I can't lie. I know you're going to meet. You're going to meet another guy. Understand me, won't you? Try. Let's just say goodbye. Sometimes you got to have a whispers moment. Honestly, some of y'all ain't been saved all that long. You gotta Honestly assess your situation. And then if you got to change, Pastor Ann, you just got to change. Folk are not going to like it. But if I'm going to get what God has for me, I can't get it if I keep staying where I am. Holla at you, boo. Number two, after you assess, I'm scared to say this, but you got to make the right choice if you want to get what God has for you. Number one, you got to assess and analyze yourself. Number two, you got to make the right choice. Now watch this. Look at verse 5. Verse 5, they said, and they arose up in the twilight to go into the camp of the Syrians. Now they're walking into enemy territory. But they said, well, so what? And when they were come to the uttermost part, that's where the forward guard should have been, nobody was there. They knew now if we get past the guards, these boys were willing to risk their lives to save their lives. You got to choose right. The first big choice you got to make, you've got to choose Jesus. You've got to make a quantitative decision that he's going to be Lord of your life. Before you decide which side to put your hair on, before you decide what kind of car you want to drive, before you decide what kind of person you want to be, you got to first make the choice to make Jesus Lord of your life. Every other choice you make, Deacon Cobbs, follows that. If you do that and get that, everything else will flow. But you got to make that choice first. Number two, choose the right career. There is no point. Now I know this is maybe a little worldly, but there's no point in keep working on a job where everybody makes you nervous and everybody makes you upset and you're not making enough and they're not paying you enough. And hey, turn in your resignation. That's much better than going crazy and getting in an airplane and flying the airplane into a building trying to kill innocent people who hadn't done nothing to your crazy behind. Why don't you just resign and leave us alone? It's not my fault that you're on a job you don't like. That's not my fault. Don't shoot me. Hey, brother, I'm not bothering you. Choose the right career. Folk get on your nerves that bad, something is wrong. You get headaches on the way to work. You get a stomachache when you get to work. You can't hardly stay at work. And when you get to work, you ain't doing no work. You may as well quit. You mad all day. And go home and take it out on the children. As soon as you walk in, hey, tell y'all right now, we just babies. Folk on my job get on my nerves so bad. And you get in there, take your bath. Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness up here? When you make these decisions now, I'm going to tell you how to do it in a minute. Make you see. Next, you got to choose the right mate. Choose a person you want to spend your life with. It has a permanent bearing on your children and their emotional well-being. You may think you can just divorce somebody if they try to be a bad choice, but your children are stuck with them. You gone, having a party, going to Vegas and back, and they got to live with them nuts. That's their daddy or their mom. Be careful who you choose. In other words, if you crazy, don't marry somebody crazy. If you cheat, why would you marry a stingy person? If you lazy, why would you marry a sorry person? If you ugly, why would you? You see what I did? You see what I did? You ugly? Why marry ugly? Marry somebody look good. Can't get what God has for you stuck. You got to choose your friends wisely.